Hello everyone, my name is the Theoretical Psychoanalyst, and today I want to have a discussion on a very serious and recent topic. Recently, a few large streamers were disciplined on a platform known as Twitch. They were disciplined for using the word cracker. Due to this, there has been a lot of discussion around whether or not the word is acceptable to use. For the remainder of this video, I will be referring to the word as the C word or the C slur. Let's start by first examining the word and its context. It is clear the word has no recent use in history other than for two purposes. One is that of a food, and the other is that of a person with white skin. Some claim that it's fine to use against those with white skin because it's not a racial slur. But if we look at the word and the way it's being used, let's see if we can justify that line of reasoning.
Don't pull that bullcrap on me. Lose fair and square. Boo-hoo, cracker.
Bitter because it's saltine cracker. That's not what I said. You dumb cracker bitch.
Based on the previous clips, it's clear these individuals were using the word in a derogatory manner to attack or insult another person based off a characteristic that would match that word. In this instance, we can generally assume that is the color of their skin and no other characteristic of the person that would seem to match. So what is a racial slur exactly? According to the Anti-Defamation League, a leading organization in fighting against hateful speech and rhetoric, a racial slur is an insulting, offensive, or degrading remark, which is where the slur part comes from, often based on an identity group such as race, ethnicity, religion, ethnic, gender, or sexual orientation. So by the very definition that we just laid out, is the C word a racial slur? Yes, it clearly is. The ADL also states that it is on their website. Now, a lot of people bring up the line of reasoning, well, it's not like the N-word. I would grant you that the N-word has a far worse connotation due to its historical use. But do we really want to start judging racial slurs off their historical offenses? Are we going to start allowing them simply because they are worse ones out there? Saying something like, well, it could be worse, or there are worse things out there, is a type of logical thinking known as adaptation strategy. We use it to try and overcome issues that, if we were to dwell on, may cause psychological or emotional harm to us. It's a type of psychological defense mechanisms our brain employs quite often when bad things happen in life, like when you get fired, when you get injured, or when you have a really bad day. The danger of this type of thinking is that if we use it reflexively to things that will cause much greater harm to others than ourselves, then inherently we start to excuse abhorrent behaviors as long as we are not affected. We should be very vigilant in cognitively acknowledging when our use of this psychological defense mechanism is warranted and helpful, or unwarranted and harmful. In this case, I would argue it is harmful. Sure, you can say the C slur isn't as offensive as the N slur. You could also say the C slur is the least offensive of the current racial slurs in society. I would grant you both of those to be true. But at the end of the day, we should acknowledge the C slur is a racial slur, and it is inherently wrong to denigrate anyone based on their race. Another idea that's been put forward in this debate is the idea of it's fine to call white people the C slur because its etymology is rooted in the fact that they were the ones who cracked the whip on the slaves. So they still are holding the power in the use of this word. The original origins of the C slur are in dispute. The real issue with this, though, is trying to find arbitrary justifications for the use of a slur is the same type of thought slime that white supremacists and neo-Nazis have used for decades. Neo-Nazis claim that since Jews run the world, they should be allowed to call them words like the K slur or the J slur. Another common way of trying to justify this is something called justification or justification theory. It goes like this. Well, I've been called this word a bunch of times, so I should be allowed to use it. Or I have the right ethnic group, racial group, or insert qualifier here, so I should be allowed to use it. These are not qualifiers for using any racial slur against any person. And I want to give an example of that right now.
I've been called a cracker more times than every single one of you fucking pasty little cracker bitches in my chat, okay? Let's be fucking real for a second, okay, Mr. Alabama? I've been called a cracker a fuckload more than you. Why? Because I'm extremely online, okay?
There is one thing I will say that I believe with every fiber of my being. Any person who tries to defend their right to use a racial or ethnic slur against another in a prejudicial manner is a truly awful human being. With that, I think we've covered all the intellectual ground here that we can without getting off into the gray. I hope all of you have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. As always, may love guide your heart, wisdom your mind, and intelligence your actions. Thank you all for watching. Have a good day.